Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night, wherever you might be in this wonderful world of ours. Yes, it's me, Seamus Corry, wellbeing consultant and mental health trend practitioner. And yes, I've come out of retirement. You thought episode 29 was the last episode of In the Spotlight series. You were wrong, because I've waited a long time, ladies and gentlemen, to have my guest in front of me that I have wonderfully on this podcast this afternoon. And I am delighted to have my guest on this show this afternoon. Um, my relationship with the guests I have on today goes back 13 years. And if you know, you know. But let's just say my album is now complete. I've got the silver sticker in my album for the one of the most amazing people I've got to know over the last 13 years. This guy's amazing. He is a father. He is a founder. He is a comedian. He was a former primary school teacher. He has spoken at length to thousands of people across the world about wellness, resilience, mental health, personal development. He runs a company that works across the Ukraine, across the world, to develop confidence-based programs and developmental-based programs for children, young people, and adults, ladies and gentlemen. He is also a celebrated author with not one, not two, not three, not four, not five, not six, but 7 books in the library. And I would recommend you get them all today. Buy them, go on Amazon right now, this very second, and get these books, because once you have them in possession, you will not regret that decision you have been made, because they are filled with wisdom, they are filled with wonder, they are filled with joy, they are filled with hope, they are filled with golden nuggets of wisdom from a guy who's been there, done that, and worn that t-shirt. And I suppose more than that, he's been a friend of mine for the past 13 years. And albeit we connect socially and connect online, we get the opportunity to speak to one another, with one another, about life, loss, hope, joy, wonder, boredom, burnout, anxiety, mental health, well-being, to name but a few of the subjects. We're just going to touch upon today. So, if you've not already subscribed to my YouTube channel, get out and subscribe today. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your dog, tell your pets, tell everybody that you know. Subscribe to that channel today, because you do not want to miss out on this content. Ladies and gentlemen, across the world today, I give you Gavin Oattes. Gavin, welcome to In the Spotlight this afternoon, this special podcast episode, the Confidently Lost podcast. How are you doing, Gavin?
Seamus, I think that's the most wonderful introduction I've ever had, and with your accent, it just takes it to the next level. Mate, thank you so much. And you're right, this has been a long time in the making. We've talked about it. I said, yes, we'll do it, but then I kind of put it off, and there's lots of reasons for that, all good reasons.
Yeah.
But here we are, mate. We're here.
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely, mate. The first question I have to you, Gavin Oattes, is how do you feel today, Gavin Oattes? Knowing you're a #1 author, knowing that your book, while we speak, people are probably buying your book as we speak. It's probably rolling off the shelves as we speak. How do you feel about that?
I feel amazing. I feel really proud of this. Well, firstly, I feel well, I feel healthy, I feel good, I feel excited. When it comes to the actual book, I feel really proud. I feel a bit weird, if I'm being honest. It is an odd feeling. I started writing this summer 2023. The manuscript was handed in months and months ago. And it was funny because I only, albeit the book only came out on Thursday, I only recorded, so what's that, 3-4 days ago? No, a week ago, sorry. It came out a week ago. I've lost track of time. 2 weeks before that, I was in London for 3 days in a little sound booth recording the audio version. And it's been months.
There's an audio version? Sorry, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, there's an audio version. Oh my God. Excellent.
It's me.
Yeah.
But I sat there rereading my own book over and over again for 3 days, thinking, I've forgotten I'd written that because it was so long ago. And so I'm having that thing at the moment where I'm doing loads and loads of interviews. I've done so much. I've done more radio in the last week than I think I've ever done. I'm speaking to a lot of journalists, and it's funny because I'm going through that thing at the moment of, do you know what? I was in an interesting place when I wrote this book, and I went through all sorts of emotions, and it's been wonderful. And when you do write a book, at no point do I think about who might read it. It's you're just in the moment writing, and I realise now, looking back, that I wrote this book for me. It was a book that I obviously needed, and I kind of wrote my way through an interesting experience. But now to have other people getting in touch and saying that they're reading it and loving it, and it's making a difference. Oh man, it's a strange, surreal feeling, but it's beautiful.
Absolutely. And you know, these words are needed, Gavin Oattes, and no better man to write these words and share these words with the world. And I know from knowing you personally and professionally, I know how firstly it's difficult to write these words down, because you wrote Confidently Lost, and this is the book here, ladies and gentlemen, that you need to get your hands on today. And if you cannot get that one, get Light Will See You Now, which is wonderful as well. And listen,
I need to get you doing my marketing for me.
please, mate, I will do that. I will absolutely do that. But Confidently Lost, I know, and you've spoken about it candidly in the past, and you're a shining example of somebody who's not afraid to speak about their own mental health, with a view to supporting and helping others. And I know with regard to Confidently Lost, you said it quite candidly in the opening section. This book came from a place where your anxiety went into sixth gear, right? And
Oh, like a level that I didn't know existed. Because I've had some big run-ins with anxiety over the years, and you know, I went to primary school in the 80s, secondary school in the 90s, and I was known as a worrier. You know, people called me a worrier. What are you worrying about, Gavin? You're such a worrier. I wasn't worried about anything, Seamus. I sometimes didn't even understand the question. Like, why did they think I was a worrier? And it's because we didn't talk about anxiety. It was just worry. I wasn't able to really articulate at that age what was going on, but you learn to live alongside it, right? And you have your little coping mechanisms, and it becomes your norm. In 2018, it got pretty bad. There was a time in my life where it was difficult, and I really struggled with it for a good few weeks. Actually, it was probably about three months, but it just kind of lifted and off it went again. But yeah, summer 2023, out of nowhere, in under 60 seconds, I went from what I describe in the book as the best year of my life. I felt great, mate. I had got myself really fit and healthy again.
yeah,
Everything
you'd lost 2 stone.
I had. I'd lost weight that I was needing to lose in a healthy way, I might add. Business was great. Everything, family were great. Like, everything on paper, brilliant. But in under 60 seconds, it all changed, and I found myself in a situation where I had the most extraordinary physical anxiety ripping through my body. Now, I describe it in the book as like when you're swinging on a chair. You know, that moment when you're in school and you're on your chair and you're swinging on it, and it's about finding that sweet spot, and then all of a sudden the chair just goes, whoa. So you don't actually fall. It would actually be easier if you did fall, but that almost fall, where you shit yourself, is my point, you know, and you feel this physical lightning bolt of fear and panic in your head, your eyes, your chest, your stomach, your legs, your toes, like you're shot to bits, you know, and it takes you a few minutes to like, whew, get your breath back. I often describe my anxiety as that moment, just as you think you're going to fall, that's the worst moment, and just imagine somebody could just, with a big magical TV remote controller, point it at you and press pause.
Yeah.
And I couldn't shake or move this feeling out of my head and my body. And it didn't begin to ease for 4 months. And there was an 18-month journey, but the first 4 months was horrific. Couldn't sleep, couldn't stop eating. That 2 stone that I lost, I put all and some back on. Almost get rid of it again now. That's been a journey as well. But couldn't leave my house, couldn't work, couldn't stop crying. It was physically painful. Like it, when people talk about how anxiety can be crippling or debilitating, I mean, my goodness, it is debilitating, and it's the worst experience of my life. It was awful. But in saying that, I feel great now. We're 2 and a bit years down the line, and people who are listening to this podcast, watching this podcast, anybody that's struggling, I want them to hear the things we're talking about. Whilst it was awful going through it, there is a way through, and I think that's the bit we have to hold on to. I think the biggest lesson I had in 2023 is asking for help helps.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
who knew, Seamus?
Absolutely, who knew? And it's getting the right help at the right time that makes all the difference, Gav, isn't it? And
well, I think I learned it's about finding the right package of support for you, and mine will be different to yours and the next person's. And my neighbour, great guy, he's a young doctor. I was very honest with him one day. This was back when I was right in the thick of it, and I had quickly gone out to put something in the bin and get back in the house because I was struggling to leave the front door, and he's like, "You okay?" And I was like, "Not really." And I got talking to him, and he was great. And at this point, I wasn't taking any medication or anything. He's like, "Why would you not take medication?" I was, don't know if I need it, and there's a bit of a stigma attached to that and all that sort of good stuff. And he's like, they're literally designed to help people like you feel better in these moments. And I just looked at him, and he said to me, it's about finding your package of support, Gav. Now, it might be walking and meds and music. It might be healthy food, extra water, better sleep. You find your thing. And it took me a wee moment, but I found that package of support that I needed, and it probably consisted of quite a few things. But we found it. We got through it. We've learned a lot from it.
Magic, and and along the way, you've learned a significant amount about yourself, about your condition, but also not only that. One of the things that blows me away in terms of this book is that you not only talk the talk, but you walk the walk as well. You've done the research. You say in your book that in order to get underneath it, you looked at all the stuff that was out there. You read, you researched, you almost researching it to death, really. That every paper, every article, and the beauty about Confidently Lost, that you've not already read it, go out and get it, read it, buy it today. But one of the things you will appreciate in this book is that when Gavin writes about his anxiety, he writes about it from a place of understanding, awareness, but also in-depth knowledge of the subject, which is absolutely amazing.
Well, I felt I had to, because some of the things that had helped me in the past, that were just my go-to things, weren't working. And I think that scared me. I mean, I was already scared. I mean, anxiety is like the most extraordinary fear for me, but the things that I had tried in the past just didn't seem to be doing it, and I was like, well, what do I do? And I read everything, absorbed everything, tried everything. A lot of it not working still, but yeah, I found a couple of wee nuggets along the way. And once you find something that you feel that weight lift a little bit, you're like, all right, okay, like, you get your breath back a wee bit, and you're on your journey. And unfortunately, it can be a long journey, but it's about taking that step. And I think some people listening to this will know that, the energy and the strength that you have to dig deep to get moving out of your dark place. And people who've never experienced it or don't understand it, I honestly, hand on heart, hope they never have to, ever, because it's awful.
It is awful, and from a fellow anxiety sufferer,
Yep,
it is awful.
there's a lot of us out there.
There is more than people care to imagine, actually.
Well, that's it. Not a lot of them are talking about it. They're certainly not doing podcasts about it.
No, certainly not. And from somebody who grew up in Southern Ireland with a mother that was a born warrior, she worried about worrying that if she didn't have anything to worry about, she worried about that. And
Do you know? Do you know? Do you know? I had got to a place, right, where I would wake up in the morning, and my first thought every day for years, before I could start my day, was, right, what is it? What do I need to worry about today?
yeah,
That's what I used to tell. Like, I literally used to think those words. What do I need to worry about today? And most days the answer was nothing. And then I could start my day. I mean, what is that? I mean, what a way to start your day.
I know, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And one of the beautiful ways, Gav, and one of the things I'm always, and that's why I'm your number one fan, right? I am your number one fan, right? Don't let anybody, I mean, we can argue the toss and that. You've got followers and supporters all over the place. Why I'm your number one fan? But I'll shut up about, because
I'll take it.
yeah, you can have it. You can absolutely have it. And take that job as your marketer as well. I'm more than happy we can discuss terms a little bit later on, but we can go up with that. Maybe we can share secrets. But one of the things that has helped you, and I've started doing consciously myself now, and you beautifully mentioned it in the book. And I suppose I'm going to get to a question. I am going to get to a question, but I want to say that when you write, Gavin, you present a whole new language to me. Words that have never come to the surface before for me are now part of my vocabulary, right? So I look for sun kicks and adapting my mind to a sun kick kind of mindset, right? And for those who know, for those who don't know, go out and read the book. But one of the beauties of where it starts is, rather than looking at triggers, you say in your book, you look for the glimmers and you create yourself a glimmer list, right? How's that? And your glimmer list is absolutely amazing. I've read your glimmer list, you know, and if you've not read the glimmer list, go and read the book.
No, so it all kind of came to a head for me in the back garden of my house. I'm maybe giving away part of the book here to folks that have not made it to the end yet, but I there was a phase I went through when I was at my absolute lowest. The weather outside was actually quite good, and I found myself going out into the sun in the back garden. And of course, that moment the sun hits your face, right? It's a beautiful moment. You could say that's a sun kick. In fact, it is a sun kick in its finest form. But I was pacing. I was doing a lot of pacing at that point in my life. Like, I would pace up and down the garden, and because there's, when that anxiety rips through my body, like, I can't sit still. I can't settle. Nothing in me will settle, and it's my thinking or physically. And that's the thing about my anxiety, is it's so physical. And I was in the back garden, pacing up and down. My wife's like, would you just sit down? I was like, I can't. I'm going through these awful thoughts in my head and feeling horrific. And I heard a jingle, right, in the distance. And I'm using the word jingle deliberately, because it was the tune that comes from the ice cream van, Seamus, which is a jingle. I mean, it's not really a song as such, but
it's a jingle.
Where I live, right, so I'm in Edinburgh, and where I live, there isn't an ice cream van. I don't know why, but there's never been an ice cream van that comes our way. And for 30 seconds, in my head, I was back home where I grew up on the west coast of Scotland in Troon. I could see the beach, my mum, my dad, my brother. I could almost smell the sunburn thing going on in those days. I could see the ice cream van that used to always be parked down there. I could see myself with my 50 pence going to get my 99, because it was less than 50 pence in those days. It's what, like 4.50 now or something. But it was only 30 seconds. But that 30 seconds, I was transported back to Troon. It's not life-changing, but it's nice. But the most important part of that moment was I wasn't thinking about how I was feeling.
Yeah.
And that was a huge turning point for me. I realized that for 30 seconds, for the first time in weeks, I might add, I wasn't thinking about how I was feeling. I thought, well, what is that? What has happened in my head that's allowed for that? And I started to research these micro moments of joy, and it turns out it's a thing. It's the study of glimmers, and a glimmer is the opposite of a trigger. I mean, you know, you can trigger good feelings, but we associate quite often, I mean, you know this more than I do in the work that you do, we usually associate triggers with negative things, with trauma and but so the way the world of psychology talks about it is it's the opposite of a trigger. It is a micro moment of joy. So it's, I don't know, the smell of fresh bread. I mean, that smell is just like for 20 seconds, you're getting sun kicked. Basically, that moment where it fills you up, it lifts you, the weight comes off your shoulders, you're transported. It could be a hug, it could be a rainbow, it could be your dog, your cat, you know, it could be this opening chord of your favorite song. I could keep going. It could be a bath. It doesn't matter what the thing is, but that's what a glimmer is. And the more I looked into it, I started to look at the science behind it. It turns out it's all connected to your vagus nerve, and of course, where a trigger might tell you you're in danger, a glimmer sends a signal, and you know, it's like a carrier pigeon in your system, and basically it sends a message to you to tell you you're safe, you're all right.
Yeah.
And of course, when you're suffering from extreme anxiety or you're depressed, you know, the feeling of being unsafe and scared is constant. So to have that beautiful 30 seconds of relief, I guess, I thought, right, what if I keep finding these and we get to a point where I find so many that they start to join up, and then maybe I can get a full day of not thinking about how I'm feeling. And that started my journey, Seamus. That was it. Off I went. I thought, I'm going to find my glimmers. I'm going to write them down. And as you have mentioned in the book, I have shared my list of glimmers that I was putting into my phone. And I mean, there's some ridiculous things on there, like potato croquettes.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But that might sound so silly to some people. But in that moment, and I'm not talking the fancy ones. Now, I've got family out in Spain, and they would tell me that the croquetas that you get in the Basque region are the best. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the cheap, rubbish, frozen ones. But when you put them in the air fryer, which I'd never had before, mind-blowing.
Okay.
Because the outside goes much crispier, the inside's much fluffier. And my wife and I and the kids, we're sitting there, and my kids have had a potato croquette, but not really. It's just not really a thing that you buy now. You might get it in like a lovely tapas restaurant, but it's not a bag of frozen croquettes out of Asda, you know. And we ate them, and everybody was sitting there going, how good are potato croquettes out of the air fryer? And like, as a family, the four of us are just sitting there going, this is delicious. And you know what? For a couple of minutes at that point, I wasn't thinking about how I was feeling. And I was like, right, there's something here. So my glimmer list, my glimmer tracker that I created became part of my package of support. And I have continued to this day on this mission. The sun kick thing, that was my own kind of take on what it does to you.
Yeah, I love that.
It was just that idea of what is the thing that's going on there, and it was that idea of when the sun catches your face. It's that lovely sun kick moment, and it's just beautiful. So the way I describe it in the book is the glimmer is the thing, the bread, the coffee, for example, the rainbow, and then the sun kick is how it makes you feel. It's the impact. It's the emotional thing that you get from it. But for me, I also then realised...
your sun kick is like your mental source of vitamin D, right?
That's it. It's your mental green belt. It's whatever you want to call it. And I realised that actually there's a bit of a mindset to this. You have to let it sun kick you. You know, as adults, we don't see all the beautiful wee things like we used to.
No.
You know, kids do. Kids see them all the time. They're naturals at this. You know, one of the quotes I have in my last book, Life Will See You Now, is the quote from Macaulay Culkin that starts the whole book. And he says, I'm yet to discover a level of enthusiasm that tops, holy shit, look at the size of this potato chip. And I love it because what he's reminding us there is there's no more excitement in life than when you find a massive crisp. But what I love about that moment, Seamus, is you turn to everybody else and you're like, look at the size of this. And if there's no one else there, you get your phone out, you take a photo and you send it to someone, or you put it on LinkedIn these days, because that's what LinkedIn is now. And you're kind of inadvertently, unconsciously sharing this beautiful glimmer moment that you got excited about. And I think kids are so good at that. Always. through moments of change, moments of conflict, they see the joy, the fun, the playful, the wonder, the magic. Adults, I think some of us forget, and I think the world's busy at the moment. It feels chaotic. It's big. It's shouty. It's quite angry in places. And I think we all feel the news more now than we ever did. But the world is also still beautiful.
It is.
And full of art and all types of art, music and poetry and dance, and there's the most extraordinary food and countries and cultures and people and colours and like, if we just stop and allow it, like lift our heads out of our phones maybe, and just notice, the world is rammed with glimmers. They are everywhere, and if you allow yourself to enjoy it, soak it up, smell it, hear it, experience it, it'll sun kick the shit out of you, and it's a beautiful place to be.
I love that. I absolutely love that, Gavin. Absolutely. We could end it on that note, but it's there. Yeah, yeah. There is so much more. There is so much more to this book, and I get the sense from the book that and I've begun to question myself, right? Because you leave little challenges in the book, and I think leave we little reflective moments in the book where you begin to question which side of the parallel am I, and especially in relation to, I suppose, there are two extremes, I think, that you mentioned in the book. Burnout and bore out, both of which both of which are real, both of which exist, both of which have the same disastrous consequences in terms same symptoms in terms of our mental health and well-being, which is fascinating. And my question is, have we as adults all become a little bit boring? Have we kind of bored out ourselves, Gav?
Well, I think it's a very bit. I mean, I think there's a huge question there with so many moving parts
Yeah.
to it, because it's not a one size fits all kind of thing. But so just to go back a little bit, you're talking about burnout and bore out. Bore out is the one most people have never heard of.
Yeah.
Bore out is the one that people are like, nope, never heard of that. I've heard of burnout. And because the symptoms are the same, that might be stress, might be low mood, it might be exhaustion, it might be loss of appetite, whatever. They assume they're burned out. But actually, it can be that you're just not engaged enough. You're literally so disengaged from your work that you're bored shitless to the point where you're not so well. Okay, are we all a bit bored? I don't know. Like, so a little bit of boredom's a good thing. That's where creativity is often born. The problem now is, particularly for kids, actually there's an argument that there's not enough boredom because they're so stimulated by their phones and their screens and their tablets and their video games. Not that it's video games' fault, I might add, but like the constant stimulation of the brain from phones, that actually they don't know what it means to be bored. So the science of boredom is really interesting. That's why I sort of hesitated at the question a little bit. I think, though, that adults have almost been educated to not know the benefits of playfulness.
Yeah.
So they talk about how children learn best through play. What they don't tell us is that adults learn best through play. Playfulness is the key to so much because it's connected directly with joy. Joy is the sort of architect of inspiration. And then when you feel inspired, innovation follows. But that all starts with playfulness, because the scientific breakdown of playfulness is imagination, creativity, and innovation. So we need to play. We need to have literal fun. The problem is, as adults, we see fun as boozing, going to big parties. I realise there's lots of other types of fun as well, but what we don't think about is maybe a big game of hide and seek or a big game of tag, because we associate that with children. But quite literally, there is nothing childish about play. Play is vital for connection. It's vital for relationship building. It's vital for communication and problem solving. And there's a beautiful quote by a guy called Professor Stuart Brown where he says, play is like oxygen. It's all around you. You just don't notice it until it's gone. And I think that takes me to the heart of your question, that I think for an awful lot of adults, I think that playfulness is gone. And the flames need fanning. You know, we need more adults, because I mentioned earlier how the world feels a bit chaotic and shouty and catastrophic for some of us. And I mentioned that we feel the news more than we ever did now. And I mean, literally, I think I'm feeling it more, and it's heavy.
Yeah.
However, you know, playfulness is such a beautiful, magical thing, and yet there's not an awful lot of adults choosing to play at the moment. You know, when was the last time you called in for a friend, just unannounced? Like we used to do when we were
knocking
kids.
the tap on the door and see him coming out to play.
Yeah, and maybe knock the door and run away first, because that's funny, but then come back. But like, I dare all your listeners now, today, tomorrow, to go and call in for somebody. Don't text them first. I mean, you will freak them out. Knock the door, ring the bell. They come to the door, and just say to them, "Coming out."
Yeah.
And they'll be like, "What?
Yeah.
What for?" And you'll be like, "Don't know. We'll go get an ice lolly." There's a glimmer. Love an ice lolly.
Yeah.
And go out and hang out. That's fun. It's playful. It's exciting. It's different. Whereas now we're sitting scrolling and scrolling. And for some people, that's now their life. You know, they go to bed at night with their partners and scroll for 40 minutes. They get up in the morning. The first thing they do, they scroll for 40 minutes. That is our lives for some of us.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's that we are bored, but I would maybe say we got a wee bit boring.
Okay.
Maybe put it that way.
Okay.
But I'm not an expert on that, so some people may disagree. And we all look at our phones, I might add. Don't want anyone feeling singled out here. We all do it.
Yeah.
But I think we live in a time where rediscovering our inner 5-year-old is probably more important now than it's ever been.
And listen, you not only talk the talk, but you walk the walk as well. And I love that bit in the book where you describe, you know, Monday morning, Edinburgh, stressed out, your bobs, everybody going to work. And you decide to have a skip-a-thon.
I did. Did you see the video yet?
I hadn't seen the video yet. I promise you, I haven't seen the video yet.
Well, it's on. You'll find it all over my socials. So my daughter, a while ago, she's nearly 14 now, but when she was a bit younger, I remember her saying to me, "Skipping is the funnest way to travel." And I love that. I love the word funnest. I don't even think it's a word, but skipping is the funnest way to travel. And she didn't say it as a joke. It was like, no, you're like, I am right and you're wrong, and you don't remember. And I always thought, I'm going to put this to the test. So yep, Monday morning, out we went, Princess Street, Edinburgh. Rush hour, right outside Waverley. We moved a little bit, but we started outside Waverley, and we thought we're gonna ask people what is, to use my daughter's word, the funnest way to travel. And of course, people were saying things like, well, actually, a lot of people didn't want to even speak to me, but there was a lot of people saying things like play, and I would say wrong, and they'd be like, wrong. I'd say, yeah, wrong. They'd be like, boat. I'm like, no, and we just kept going, and eventually I would say to them, it's skipping. And when you see the video, it's really beautiful. There's a lot of people being asked if they want to skip up the road with me, and even hold my hand, and you'll see their initial responses. It's not all so good. However, I think you can probably guess where the video eventually ends up going, and it's beautiful, mate. Seamus, you will adore it. If you jump on my LinkedIn or the Gavin Oattes Facebook page, just scroll, it'll appear at some point.
I promise.
And it was one of the most, like, I was terrified at the start. I was like, what are you doing? And I had a guy with me that I know well, a brilliant guy called Colin Douglas, who was filming, and he filmed a video I did a few years ago where I handed out balloons in the street.
I loved that. I'd seen that one.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And he was laughing, going, mate, this is next level stupid. And I'm going, I know. He's like, but if we could do this, if this works, this is beautiful. And And what I will say is, I think we reminded quite a few people of the joy of skipping. And that video is just utter, utter joy. And as silly as it felt to begin with, I'm very, very glad we went for it. And of course, with my daughter now being nearly 14, I finally was able to show her the video, and she was mortified. She was like, "Oh, what have you done?" She was like, "Do not put that on the internet." Done. She's like, "Don't put that on TikTok or Insta." Done.
Done, 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 done. Yeah, absolutely brilliant. Gavin, believe it or not, we've got 5 minutes left.
Oh,
I know you and I could talk all day. We could share stories all day.
absolutely.
And I know you're a busy man, and you've got a lot on. For those who've not read Confidently Lost, I might have mentioned the fact that this is Gavin Oates' new book, just recently published. Guys, if you've not already purchased it, purchase it today. Read this book, have it in your library. Buy one for yourself, buy one for your friend, buy one for your entire family, buy one for your entire community. People need to read, hear, and see this book and listen to this book when it comes out in audio, which I'm also
Mid-November.
mid-November. Gav, as a pitch bud, when it comes to a book, right? How would you pitch this book for somebody who just had walked into Waterstones, is in the middle of bore out, is looking for something to get them going? How would you pitch this book to them?
So I think this book is, well, first of all, I think the thing that popped into my head there was the name of the title of chapter 1, which is "It's Hard to Be a Person." And I think for a lot of people at the moment, it's hard to be a person. There's a lot going on. It's been a strange few years, like coming out of COVID, the world, as we thought we were kind of going back to something great, it was like, actually, hang on, let's have some wars and let's make everything expensive. And it feels like it's just constant. And I heard a phrase when I was writing this book, certain uncertainty. And I think that rings true for a lot of people at the moment. So if I'm plugging this book, I think I want it to be like the album that you got in your teens. I say this about all my books. Honestly, it's like the album you got in your teens that kind of changed your life, that made you just open your eyes and go, wow, okay, right. I feel amazing. And it's not about going and taking on the world and striving for unbelievable success. It's, I actually say in the book, these things like hustle culture and to go away, people. Like, this is about real life, and I think I want people to read this and just know that, do you know what? For everything that we see here in the news and on social media, the world is special, man. It's the people, the cultures, the music. I've mentioned that already, but like the glimmers, the magic, the wonder, the learning that's to be done and to be had and to be enjoyed. The real joy is in being in the kitchen with your family or friends and, I don't know, making a lasagna and not getting your phone out to record it. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I think there is a huge amount of joy to be had in this world. And whilst it might not feel like it, it's there. And I hope that when people read this book, not only does it lift them, make them laugh, make them feel, put a great big smile on their face, but make them truly believe that actually, firstly, they're amazing. And if they do feel a bit lost, a bit broken, a bit stuck, maybe that's just the start of the adventure. Maybe there's a way to think about it where maybe that's where you're meant to be right now, but that's the start of the journey moving forward. And and I hope when they've read it, they either go back to it or pass it on to somebody who needs it.
Well, from somebody who's in the middle of reading it and who has read Life Will See You Now, which is Gav's other book, which he's got, but I tell you, he's got 7 books written already. And, just absolutely amazing. Gavin Oates, it's been a real pleasure to have you on today, my friend. Not only as as a podcast guest, but for someone to share your wisdom, your understanding, your awareness, your honesty, your transparency with the world. And I wish you every success with this book, mate. But I don't need to. This book is gonna run itself. I have no doubt in my mind. If you're not a best-selling author already, it's very close to it, mate. It's very close to it. If through this podcast episode you get to that number, you know, brilliant, absolutely brilliant. But more often than that, Gavin, and I'll be honest with you, I have been with you on this road, for a while now, for the past 13 years. And I honestly say that you're inspirational to me, as one human being is to another. And as somebody who is not afraid to put his heart on the line in order to create that lasting impact. And if I can go halfway towards that in my own work that I do, I'll be doing something well.
Mate,
In
I
my life.
thoroughly appreciate your kind words. Thank you. And you need to know that the work you're doing is phenomenal. And there's a lot of good people out there doing a lot of good things that a lot of people don't see and hear about. And there's an army of us out there changing lives for the better. And I think I'm just one tiny wee piece of that sort of machine that's out there doing their thing. And listen, let's do this again. Loved it.
Love it. Where can people get the book, Gav?
Everywhere. It's in all good bookshops. And if it's not, they'll order it in for you. I love supporting the independent bookshops, if I'm being honest. I mean, if you can order it into your wee bookshop down the road, please do so. But of course, it's online in the big shop, shall we say, if you wish to put your money that way. If you do buy it and you like it, get the reviews out there, because unfortunately, these books, when you're not a big time author, they live and die by the reviews on Amazon. Oh, I said it. I said the word.
Yeah, well, review. You can expect a big 2 pages from the email. So, sit down. I would say to you, when you see my review, sit down, get a cup of something of your choice, sit down, relax, and
read your book.
I,
I'll read your book in the review.
read your review of your book, mate. My book hopefully will be coming out in due course. We're looking at maybe a summer 26 launch for mine next year, which
That's amazing. Wait, how far down the process are you?
I'm about 9.5 in, mate. I'm not as close to 62,000 as you are, but I'm about 9.5 in, and we're in the middle of a rewrite. I keep rewriting it, which I'm my own worst enemy, mate. I'll go that shite, and I need to rewrite it. So I'm in the process of a rewrite to make it feel like something that people get their hands in and their arms around and their heads around.
Mate, do it. Just write from the heart. And even if you have a day of writing rubbish, there'll be something in it that you'll use later on. And I only get a bit. It's funny. I write between 6 and 8 in the morning. I don't know what it is. It's my 2 hours of absolute laser focus that you'll get from me, and then after that, I'm done.
No.
And it's mate, I want to be first to read it, and
you will, mate. You're on my beta list, mate. For
brilliant. I'll give you a quote for the cover.
Get in, mate, and get in. So the gospel, and I can share this with everybody. The gospel of Seamus, the Godspell of Seamus, will come out in summer next year, which is a little kick in the arse. If people know,
It's out there now. It's
out there now. So that's the title. Like, that is the title. That's where we're resting on. And yeah. So, Gav, it's been brilliant today, mate. I appreciate you taking the time out in your busy schedule. I know, life like us all moves for us all, and I appreciate you taking this wonderful hour with me to record this episode. If you've not already followed Gav, know Gav, if you've been living on planet Mars for the past, 10 years, look, GavinOattes.com, go and check him out. He's on Facebook, he's on TikTok, Insta, LinkedIn, he's got his own website, and, check this guy's work out because his work is amazing, not only in his own right, but the work that he does as part of Tree of Knowledge as well. And they're doing wonderful work supporting schools the length and breadth of this country, supporting young people getting to big school, which I know is very close to your heart as well. And raising levels of development and confidence and resilience and joy and hope and laughter and playfulness and everything else. All the magic that you bring to people's lives, Gavin, continue to do it. Continue to be a shining light, mate. And it's been a pleasure, honor, and a sincere and sincere humility to know you and to be part of your life, to be part of your story, and to walk this road with you, my friend.
Amazing. Cheers, Seamus. You too.